Hi, I'm Ryan from Sea to Summit, and on this video we're going to be looking at the fast and simple way to set up a Telos tent. The first thing you want to do is find a good spot to set your tent up. To me, that's going to be a place that's nice and flat, is clear of debris, and has good drainage. Once you've got that place selected, now it's time to get organized to set your tent up. Sea to Summit, to make that easy, has created this fair share storage system, which actually is a modular system here that allows you to separate your tent bags. So you can actually take out your tent fly, your pole bag, and the body of your tent to keep you nice and organized. Now it's time to set the tent up. Okay, once you've rolled your tent out, now it's time to stake out the corners. So I'm going to come down here to the foot end and attach my adjustable stakeout loops out to my stakes. And what I like to do is I like to leave a lot of cordage on the stakeout loops. So that way, once I have the whole tent set up, I can go back through and tension it out. Now, adjustable stakeout loops are really nice to have because if I get to this point here with my last stakeout and there's a rock right here, what I can do is I can adjust this any direction and then move the stake where I can actually drive that stake into the ground. Makes it much, much easier. So with the tent poles, it's best to spend a few seconds of time just slowing down as opposed to just letting them all out and letting them snap down. Because you want to be careful with them. I'll make them last a lot longer. And so what I end up doing is just being really careful to make sure that I insert the poles completely into the ferrule. That is a much stronger way to go. Now, the pole set for the Telos tent is one continuous pole, so it's not separate. So once you actually have it set up, the next thing to do is you want to orient it so that the color-coded ends of the pole sets match up to the color-coded corners of the tent. So this is blue, so I need to flip this around to be my foot end. So I'll lay that down. Now the next step is to attach them. So we have, at the end of the poles, there's a little clip here that captures right into the foot of the tent there. Really simple. Now I'll come around to the head end and do the same on these gray colored pole tips. And you can see this is quite simple to do. So the tent frame now is erected. Now it's time to actually bring the body of the tent up. So the first thing to remember is that you always want the tension ridge pole to be facing upwards. And then the first clip that I do is this blue central H clip right here that attaches right beneath this central hub. Now everything's ready to go. And from this point, what I do is I attach the ends of the tension ridge. These just clip on right there. And you can see it right here, this little blue end, and these just snap on. Once I have that, now I'm just free to attach all of the clips on the tent body itself to the pole frame. And I like to start from the hub end and work my way to the ends. There. And so now that's the inner of the Telos tent set up. Okay, now it's time to put the Rainfly on. The first thing I do is I find the corners of the Rainfly and I match up the color-coded clips and cordage to the appropriate colors on the corners of the tent body itself. So these are the gray ones. So I'll bring this over the tent. And now what I do is I make sure that the tension ridge is in its appropriate spot. And then I unzip the Rainfly a little bit, exposing the pocket and this little clip. And I seat the end of the tension ridge pole onto the actual Hypalon pocket there on the underside of the Rainfly. And now I do the same thing on this side of the tent. I just unzip the Rainfly, and then I find the actual pull tab, and I will pull this over the tension ridge pole and sink that in place right there, and I can rezip that back up. Once I actually have the tension ridge pole in place, the next thing that I do is I'm going to be attaching these little Velcro tabs on the inside of the Rainfly to the pole set themselves. So I just strap this one around here. So on the head end here, there's 5 of them. And they're actually quite important because they actually will make the Rainfly part of the structure of the tent itself. So my guy lines are all backed up. It really strengthens this whole structure out. So it's worth your time to do. So at the foot end of the tent, there's 3 of them. One over the top here, and then 2 down on the little cross legs. Now they don't need to be terribly tight, but you do need to secure them. Okay, once I've attached the Velcro, the next thing to do is secure the corners of the Rainfly to the tent itself using the adjustable fly foot connector, which is really simple just to snap on right there. So I'll do the foot, really quick and easy. I'll come up here and I'll do the other corners up here at the head. Okay, now once that's on, essentially now I can attach the vestibule. So the vestibule also has adjustable stakeout loops, which again makes things nice and simple in case you run into a rock or if you need to tension it. So I'll do this side. Once your Rainfly is out and secured, the last thing you want to do is come through and actually tension things up. So I'll go around and lightly tension the corners of the tent first, and I'm making sure that the seams of the Rainfly are matching up to the tent poles themselves. So I'm just adjusting the tent, getting it how I want it. Once I've got the 4 corners, the last thing I'll do is I'll come to the vestibule and just give this a little bit of a tighten. I'll do the same on the other side. You don't need to tension too much. And much like I do with the tent stakes, when I stake those in, I like to leave a lot of room for adjustability. So I don't actually tension this whole thing down first. I leave them out so that way I can come back through later and tension as I need to, just evenly. That's the key. Okay, the last step when you have your Rainfly all tensioned out is to affix the guy lines. Now the guy lines are really easy to attach on the Telos tent. Using this little boomerang toggle, you just slide it through the captured loops right here in the Rainfly, and then you can bring them down to your stakeout point. They're fully adjustable, so you can tension them as need be. They're also reflective, so at night you don't necessarily trip over them. So the Telos tent comes with 4 guy lines, 2 long ones and 2 short ones. The long ones work really well at the head end of the tent here. The foot end of the tent, I use the short guy lines. And I just use this boomerang toggle, much like at the head end, and just attach them around my stakeout points and give them a light tension. And for this last guy line, I just slide the boomerang through the guy out loop on the tent, bring it down to its stake, and then tension. Now, before I actually turn in for the night, I'm gonna go around and make sure everything's all tensioned out to my liking, tensioning the corners, tensioning the guy lines, and tensioning the vestibules as needed. I'm ready to go to sleep now.